you doing? I'm Chris. I'm a licensed counselor in my field. I've been working in the field of counseling for several years now. Enough about me. Can you tell me what brings you in?
I've been feeling a little overwhelmed, very stressed out, just about life in general in the world that I live in. I've been feeling, I guess the best word to describe it's like hollow. I just kind of go through my daily routine, I'm not really sure what the point of everything is. Just having a hard time seeing things, in a positive light. There's so much negativity in the world.
Can you explain to me what you mean by hollow?
Apathetic, I guess. I don't really feel one way or another about a lot of stuff. I feel like I've just grown up to the point and just learned so many things. It's just like, everything I see, it's like, of course. I feel kind of cynical about stuff a lot of times.
Can you explain to me what kind of stuff you feel cynical about?
I look at a lot of news articles on the internet. That's where I get most of my news from. Just the country, the state of corruption, the people in power, the way people just, seem to let themselves get brainwashed into liking, politicians when they clearly don't represent, their best interests, and stuff like that.
Can you explain to me what your views are?
On what specifically?
On politics.
Politics. I feel like most people, like myself, I'm guilty of it. I recognize that, but it's like they recognize that there's so much corruption, and they feel that there's nothing they can do about it. I feel helpless. It's like I'm just one person. What can I possibly do when the people with all the money have all the power, and that's not me. And it seems to be spiraling out of control in a lot of ways. For instance, you have two main political parties in the country that are both funded by the same, corporate sponsors. They have all the money. They have the debates for the presidential campaigns. But those two parties get to pick who gets let into the debates. And of course, they always pick them two. They never pick, a third or a fourth party.
Mm-hmm.
The tribal mentality of people upsets me. I don't consider myself conservative or liberal. People will criticize, George Bush when he was president for a lot of the executive authority and privileges that he gave himself.
Mm-hmm.
But then they'll be okay when Obama uses that. They'll defend Obama when he uses that same kind of power. And vice versa, people defend the people that they think are on their side when they're really not. They're really using the same kind of influence. And I don't know, it stresses me out a little bit. It's like, what can you do?
So what you're telling me is you're feeling a little hopeless that you're only one voice and you can't change anything in the world. You feel as if you have a certain worldview and it's not specifically going in your direction.
I don't know necessarily that. It's just more, like as I said, I'm just kind of cynical, just kind of like whatever, people are dumb,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not. That kind of, egocentric view of the world that, people don't see it my way, people don't see the problems as they should, and people, as I said, I'm guilty of this too, but people don't want to do anything to fix the problems. They feel like they're helpless as well,
So tell me a little bit more about what you mean about being cynical.
Start to see a lot of patterns, like in politics and, the abuse of power, that, presidents and other people, enact, and you know the way people defend them, people recognize that there's corruption. If they'll only call out people of a different political ideology, you know, when really the ideology is kind of a Venn diagram. You know, they're separate on like social issues, but when it comes to, you know, killing innocent people overseas, in Pakistan with drone strikes, or in Iraq, you know, with bombings, they have those, you know, terrible weapons that they use, and there's so much collateral damage, and we think that we're doing good, you know, in the world. You know, I have friends and family in the military, but, you know, and I'm grateful for them, you know, because they go in with good intentions. You know, they really love their country and they think they're doing good in the world, but then you start to see some of the stuff in the news, and it's just like, how much good are we really doing as a country, you know? And I feel like I'm part of it. I'm just caught in this big, you know, I'm just one little cog in the machine, you know.
Now, you spoke earlier about this causing you stress. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, I worry about the future a lot. I don't plan on having kids, but I plan on having a life. You know, I have goals that I want to accomplish, things I want to do before I die. And I worry about, you know, the freedoms in this country that we lose a lot. You know, the NDAA 2012 is a big thing with a lot of people where, you know, they can lock you up without due process. It's madness. And you know, when that happened, a lot of people defended the president, saying, "Oh, well, he's not going to use that power." You know, but these are liberals saying this. So what are you going to get when you get a conservative president into office? He wants to use that power. Then they're going to complain, but they were completely, complicit with it. You know, when it was enacted. And yeah, I just worry. I worry about the future. You know, am I going to be able to do the things that I want to do and accomplish my own goals when there's this big force of negativity? Just seems like just raining down on the world in a lot of ways. I don't know if that's a good way to put it, if you get what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. What is your view of the future in your perfect world?
Optimistically, I would like to see people start to take accountability for themselves. You know, as I said, I'm guilty of this as well. You know, you won't see me at a lot of food drives or anything, helping the needy, which I'd like to be. But, you know, people don't want to step up and fix the problem, so I think if people did that, you know, that's the most optimistic view that I have. You know, when people learn to help each other more, with better education, we can expand people's worldviews to not think that, okay, you know, we're better than them because they're in a different country. You know, it's that group A, group B kind of thing. You tell someone that they're in a group, they automatically think that their group is better. So I think learn to just be more patient, you know, with each other in this country and throughout the world. And recognize that, like Iran, there's a lot of tensions that they talk about in the news, but that's their government having tensions with our government. I don't have any problem with somebody that lives in Iran just because of where they were born geographically. They're just a person trying to live their life just like I am, you know, so.
You spoke about accountability and patience. Do you feel you have these things?
I try to, I try to be patient, try to be respectful, you know, with everyone that I encounter in life. It gets hard, you know. You always think that you're right and everyone else is wrong. I mean, not always, but, you know, people, that's a standard view that people have. I don't know. So
it seems to me you have a very optimistic and open-minded view of things. You just feel that others need to have a more open-minded and optimistic view, such as yourself.
Yeah.
And you said that this makes you feel hollow and cynical, and these types of things you read on the internet or see in the news just make you agitated to the point of causing you stress.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk a little bit about the stress that you're feeling?
Really just kind of anxiety, I guess, about, you know, the future, as I said, and like how am I going to be able to live my life, you know, if I got to worry about all this stuff that's going on. But then if I'm doing that, am I just ignoring, you know, all these important issues, and I'm focusing too much on myself? So I don't know how I would balance it, I guess, you know, how do you balance that out?
So have you taken any steps to curb your stress?
I exercise, I do cardio, you know, that